Members, hello, hello. I had a couple of things that popped into my head this morning, as they do, and one of them was that Four of Pentacles image of somebody who's shut down. Just, it's like I live on the ocean, and there are little periwinkles, and you can see the snail inside, and if you touch it, it retreats and shuts the door behind it. You can make them close up just by touching them. That's their, that's the instinctual response to protect them. And so that Four of Pentacles business of shutting the door behind them, pulling back and shutting the door. And, I get it with the snail. And, it's just the metaphor, but I've only now begun really to work with my tendency to want to pry the person open. What makes somebody shut is usually, or not talk, or whatever it is some injury they've suffered. Either in their sort of genetic memory as the snail, or in their actual memory of some childhood wound. I'm sorry, I have mosquito bites all over me. But it isn't always ours to know why they're like this. That's my instinct, is tell me, tell me, tell me. I'm not this person's counselor. And even if I were a good counselor, I wouldn't go in there with my pry bars and try to say, tell me all about it. It's got to sort of come up organically if the person isn't ready to begin to tell their story. All we can do is love them. If we love them, and respect the fact that they're not gonna give it up. Maybe they can't. I tend to think if somebody won't talk to me, it's because they're withholding information, or somehow that it's a way to punish, or just because they want to keep the relationship more superficial. And the other day I finally realized, no, it's a response to having been hurt. They can't talk about it. They might not even be able to think about it. And the last thing a loving person really will do is get in there and try to, there's I think it's called an awl, A-U-L, when you're trying to split a log. You can put the wedge in, and then you hit it with a hammer, and it splits along fault lines. We can't behave that way with each other's hearts. Would in a way that we could, because that's my impulse, and it's just seems like it's based in love, but it's really based in my own need to be let in. That's my wound to work out. Why do I always need to be let in? We the people. I'm sorry, somebody's leaf blowing or carrying on outside with a machine. Okay. And there was another, I'm trying to remember, there was another sort of scenario in my head. Well, it'll come to me. If it doesn't, it wasn't meant for this reading, but it's almost like trying to remember a dream. The harder you try, the more it slips away. Slips sliding away. One more. I hope you guys are doing well today. So far, so good for me. It's a foggy day. 7 of Pentacles. That's something that takes time. You wait until the fruit is ripe before you try to pick it. Something needs to grow. But it does look to be harvest time. This person's out there with a basket. And it might be a situation where somebody believes that they've put in enough time and effort into something. Now it's time to bear fruit. You're ripe now. I'm going to pick you. I'm going to pry you open. I don't know. Let's see. Tell us about this 7 of Pentacles. The slow growth. The need to wait. Okay. All right. Magician. Okay. That's sort of off to the side a little bit. That's our main character, I do believe. And that's a card of Virgo Gemini, a card of manifestation. I'm going to bring this thing into 3D through my own powers of manifestation. I've worked long and hard nurturing this thing. Now it's time to pluck the fruit. That brings up fear in somebody, and I think it's the other person. See how they have their arms crossed across their chest, like protectively, like the periwinkle. Like, don't come at me. I can't even think about this, let alone, do something in 3D. Up in their heads, afraid. And this is a new deck to me. I've never seen it before. There's a figure up at the top here in red. Blindfolded. Oh, that's what it was. The image that came, it was of A Christmas Carol, a Dickens story that's been popularized in cartoons and whatnot. It's the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of the present, the ghost of the future visits this person in a dream. And they quake, They're scared. They're in disbelief. What are you doing here in my bedroom? This specter, right? This image in red. And I was going to, as I thought about that past, present, future, that's a way to do a reading, is to really intentionally give it a timeline, which I used to do, and I abandoned that in favor of just let's look at, because all of these readings really are timeless. Whenever you find them, by virtue of the title or something, it pops up in your feed and you feel like you ought to look at it. And this is sort of, I don't want to look at it. I think in the Dickens story that the person in bed having the dream is saying, like, go away, I don't see you. And they pull the covers over their head. So in the past, Seven of Pentacles makes sense. Pentacles speak to time. A long time, this person has waited for the moment of ripeness. When they can access the fruits of their labor, all the time and the energy they've put into stepping back and allowing this thing to come to fruition. Tap, tap, tap on the gate. The snail's gate, the person's gate, the protective energy that says, not ready to open up. My heart, this posture. This is future. Oof, devil energy. Card of Capricorn, card of shadow work, among other things. Remember I said somebody clams up. That's where that expression comes from, those bivalves that just say, no, I'm not letting anything in. I don't trust this. This is a card of being stuck, can be, of the need for shadow work, looking at something you don't want to look at, perhaps. It seems too scary. Devil can also be a card of fear. There's the fear. But there's something, it's earth energy. Spirit, I think, is inviting this person to do the shadow work. Why are you afraid? What has happened to you that puts you in this, because it's reaction, it's the fear response. What they're cutting themselves off from is the nurturing, is the food of life, the way we're nurtured in 3D, Pentacles energy, here on earth. And there's something about don't let the fear, this is like, don't let the fear cause these fruits to wither on the vine. They should be picked and enjoyed, and this is life, let it in. This person is really stuck. I think they're afraid that this situation, their future is gonna hurt. Tell us about devil. That's just such a weird card. Ace of Pentacles. It's a card of Capricorn, the devil. It's a card of doing the work to free yourself from some kind of shadow energy, something somebody hasn't been able to look at before. And what was revealed in the Dickens story, the specter was making the person look at all the stuff they'd done in their life, their sort of stinginess, and because that central character was stingy, starved themselves and the people around them, wouldn't light the fire in their own grate, wouldn't burn the candle when it was getting dark. They didn't want other people to do it, and they didn't want to waste resources themselves. These are the resources. So devil says, look at it. look at what scares you. Look it in the face. It's your shadow you're dealing with here. You might think it's the business of the person trying to pry you open. But why are you afraid? What don't you want to look at? And the devil's clarified by Ace of Pentacles. In that same earth energy, it's the opportunity to start to regrow. And again, I'm getting this ocean image of the starfish that have all the radiant arms reaching out. And if one gets wounded to the point where it's withers, like withers on the vine, the starfish has the capacity to regrow that lost limb, that phantom limb, that, to bring it back. And there's growth after the shadow work. That's what liberates. Capricorn energy. Tell me about the Seven of Pentacles, please. Because it might be that this person started to invest, put time and energy into something, but as it grew, they got afraid. In the past, they were nurturing it. In the present, they're like, this is just a dream. This is a bad dream. This ghost from the past that's in my room at this moment, waking me up. And in the shadow, in the corners, because when you sleep, things come up from the unconscious, things you've repressed, things we've repressed. Don't take it as you. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm just saying that's the energy that the cards are, because the cards sort of can pry open that. There's an opportunity to get at something real, to wake up, to transmute devil energy into growth. Devil is a card that impedes growth. It's something that we're attached to, or that they are, something toxic, something that hurt them. I mean, I know when I'm not ready to open up, I really get quite pissed at the person who's, who wants in. I had an auntie who would do that. She'd call me up, and she was in trouble, but she'd call me up and say, "How are you? How are you?" And like, I wouldn't tell her. I'd say, "How are you?" "I'm fine. How are you?" I got defensive about it. Not sure why. Knight of Pentacles. Slow, organic forward movement. In 3D. Like we can go fast in our minds. In sword, energy is fast. You poke the, I don't know, I'm supposed to keep using this analogy, but the snail has gone back in and shut the door behind them, and you can poke it. And then you have to wait a long time. I mean, I did this as a kid, so I speak from experience. From experience in 3D. You poke it, and then you have to wait for it to reemerge, for it to open back up and start to come out again. So I think this person may slowly, and this person could be you, slowly reemerging into the world, into 3D. It's organic growth. And I got a weird image, but I'll wait on that. Chariot under 9 of Swords. That's the psyche opening up. Coming into balance. It's a card of Cancer, of cycles, of, how the feelings ebb and flow. And this is almost like, gosh, all the ocean imagery, but, if you wait for the tide, if you're stuck, if you're on a rock, your boat is run aground, that's earth energy that's too heavy, that gets you stuck. You have to wait sometimes for the tide to rise and float the boat, and then you can begin to move forward. You can begin. To move forward. But once the boat floats, you don't throw it into high gear. You go slowly to make sure you have safe passage. And this is pretty much like the universe is saying, yes, you do. There's water here, water energy, Cancer, a water sign. You can get back into the flow. You have enough. Somebody's backed off and given this person enough space to feel safe. And although the going is slow in 3D, something happened on the level of the psyche that they got unstuck out of this devil energy. They examined something in their past, something that had scared them in their past, and had great reverberations in the present. And again, the they could be you. The energies can flip-flop. Perfect. King of Cups. In that water energy, this is the embodiment of that. Somebody who feels deeply, but sometimes is guarded and vulnerable, like that mollusk. We're all that creature that shuts the doors until we know we're safe. King of Cups is a bit that way. They in that case, sorry, they feel so deeply. Their heart is so open that they need to stay guarded until they know they're safe, because they're too vulnerable. It's like they're too accessible to that. Their shell is there for a reason. But the tides are flowing, and this person can move forward, unstuck. Their feelings are back in the flow. The future is a new beginning. That once the shadow work is done, there's an energy release. Something, because you're not spending energy, a person isn't spending energy holding things back. That takes a lot of effort. That takes time and effort and energy. Once you do the work of freeing it up and getting unstuck, then there's this energy release. It's like this opportunity in your life, something you can work with in 3D. Your psyche is on the level of the psyche, on the deep level, core level of what shapes us. This person has a chance now. And off they go. in balance. And it might be that this person now can, is in alignment with somebody else. Perhaps a King of Cups. Let's see. Not sure. All right, so we have this Magician card, and that goes on Knight of Cups, and I'm going to flip the deck just because I don't think we want to look at those right now. Don't want to look at it right now. Sword energy is about the clarity, knowledge, the willingness to look at something, the willingness to look at something. Shadow work is looking at the things we've heretofore not been able to look at. Pull the cover over the head. That's too scary. But the psyche has gone through this, at the deepest level, this person has gone through a great organic change. It took a lot of time. To manifest the ability to move, Knight of Pentacles, forward, slowly, in 3D, in their real life. The energy that's been accessed by not trying to hold something back gives this person, they can now work with all the energies. I think this is we're still talking about the person who clammed up. They now have the energy to manifest something into 3D. They're unstuck. Card of Virgo, Gemini, Earth and Air. Earth and Air. This is the gift that shadow gives when you acknowledge it and look at it and acknowledge that it's a part of you. Then it gives you the gift, the lesson, the takeaway. I think that's true. We'll let her go for a second here. Okay, on King of Cups, Nine of Cups. This is a card of happiness and pleasure and of dreams coming true. Dreams coming true. In that same water energy. And sort of like, cheers, here's to that. I can get behind that. That's a dream coming true. A manifestation that can actually come into 3D life and move. In real life, it's slow. On the level of the psyche, it's a fast transformation. Magician, Chariot. Chariot is known for being quick and it's like suddenly the tides rise slowly. But once they're high, somebody can move on it. And this is a card of filling one's cups, feeling one's feelings, allowing for the flow, celebrating the feelings. I mean, sometimes even the bad feelings that we want to ignore or not dig into or until we're ready. Capricorn is a card of growth. It's earth energy. But, hiding our head under the covers means cutting this off too. And these are in the future position. King of Cups, Nine of Cups. I think somebody's dream is coming true. You know, it's actually manifesting into 3D, and there's an element of disbelief and fear. In the Christmas Carol, the specter shows a scary image of what the future could look like. That's in the future position. But there's also the gift. The personal gift, Ace of Pentacles, the opportunity for the new beginning. And then somebody starts to work with that energy of the gift. I mean, this is a major manifester. This is somebody who's been through it. All the energies life has to offer. Cups, swords, pentacles, wands. They've been through it all. They've been through it all. Okay, on Seven of Pentacles. What does that mean? They've been through it all. Long time, Seven of Pentacles. We have a lot of earth energy here. Virgo in the Magician. And then Seven of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. Taking the opportunity and moving on it. I was going to say running with it, but Knight of Pentacles doesn't run. They have to walk every step of the way. Queen of Swords. That's on Seven of Pentacles. That's clarity. That's knowing your personal truth. And to me, it's also like the sword, you know, that's how this person is able to reap the benefits. A truth is coming through, a clarity, perhaps about what has scared this person or scares them in the present moment. But to get at the benefits of life, Pentacles energy, you have to do the Capricorn work of looking at, you know, the shit as well as the, I mean, it's almost like, as I say shit, it's like the compost, the manure that you put on the thing to help it grow. Nothing is wasted here. But somebody had to see it with great clarity. The Gemini energy of the Virgo Gemini axis. Is it this one? There's one buried in the deck. The Sun. You know, it's funny, I kind of had a feeling maybe it was that card. This is the light. We've had the shadow, now we have the light. That's on Nine of Swords. You know, the warmth, the light, the light of day. The nightmare is over. That's in the card, the position of the present. We just moved into Leo time. It's a card of Leo, where things are illuminated. You know, the shadow work has been accomplished because something was brought into the light. Something that somebody wanted to pull the covers up and ignore. When you ignore the energy, it gets stronger, not weaker. That devil energy, it really bites you in the butt. So Queen of Swords, masculine or feminine, is now able to manifest because they've looked at what they couldn't look at before. So they got, you know, it's sort of like getting to the gift at the center of the pain or the center of the storm. Opening up. Okay, what is this on? It says it's on Magician. That's interesting. That's a card of manifestation. 3 of Wands. I picked a direction. I picked a path. It's led me to this point. This sort of precipice place. Now I have to wait. What's coming into me? It's a card of the future. I see it coming. I've manifested it. I have an optimistic attitude that this will come to me. I've got the torch. I'm shining brightly. Will this come to me? And yes, there's been a slow approach. It's not like the magician going poof, here it is, I wave my wand and, it automatically, there it is, right before my eyes. It takes a while. Something may have happened in the past, maybe 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, like the manifestation began, and there was a degree of impatience because it took so long to get here. But it's arriving, and the implication is it's arrived. You're not nuts to expect this thing to come in, but it comes in slowly. But here it comes. The feelings are in the flow. There's great happiness on the other side of this challenging time. 9 of Swords. All that thinking, all that ruminating, all that fear, all the questions, are brought to light in the present moment. Somebody's faced their fear. They're facing it now in Leo time. Okay? On Chariot, oh yeah. 8 of Wands. That's incoming. In Wands energy. Incoming. Somebody's waiting, or has waited in the past, been patient, because it took so long. And there's the flow. It's communication as much as anything else. It's the messages suddenly flooding in. They were blocked off. Somebody was blocked off. Now there's, because the psyche is loosened up, the water is able to flow. The feelings are able to flow. The blockage has been addressed and sort of almost like evaporated. And what's left behind is this opportunity. Once the water recedes, back in the flow. That's on the card of Chariot. There's communication coming in. Okay, one more. I don't know if it's coming to the King of Cups or from the King of Cups. It doesn't really matter, because it's whatever it is, it's a back and forth flow. And it makes somebody very happy. This is a card of happiness and of divine masculine, on the basis of doing something, revealing something, being we've gotten this again and again. In Leo time. Coming out from under the covers into the light of day. Divine masculine, done the shadow work. And I think part of what started it, or kicked it into gear, or gave this person the motivation to actually come out from behind the covers, was some truth that was dealt them. That's what I'm hearing, like told them, but almost more like dealt them. Queen of Swords is an energy that expects the truth. I tell the truth, I expect the truth in return. And initially this person was like, no, all the sword energy of the truth, there's an implication too. If I told you the truth, you'd want to pull the covers up. It would scare you. And yet the truth is, once it's revealed, it's a card of happiness and openness. I don't think that this divine masculine, whoever was taking the action or not taking the action because they were afraid, is now kind of grabbing. You see, the devil has the horns, grabbing the bull by the horns, Taurus energy. It's actually Capricorn, but grabbing the bull by the horns, grabbing the devil by the horns. You know, what is that thing in Running with the Bulls? You know, facing your fear by, I mean, it's just nuts, but, you know, getting into this where there's a wall on either side and you run and the bulls go after you and they catch people on their horns and they pitch them into the air. I mean, it's a scary thing to look at shadow. It's making yourself vulnerable to something I think that in the past you clammed up because this person, I think it's the other guy, clammed up because there was some reasonable fear that of getting hooked, in the sense of hurt and also in the sense of stuck, triggered, hooked, and working on freeing themselves so that they can begin, so they, you know, because when you're in this, it's kind of a no-life zone. Stuck in the dark. Shadow, if you don't deal with it, makes you stuck in the dark. The willingness to look at it. Is that it? That's it. I kind of want more, but that's it. It ends on a really high note. Chariot implies both parties. Eight of Wands implies both parties. You know, to be protected in the shell is really to be by yourself, safe but alone. This is like no longer alone. Able to emerge, Sun card. You know, not stuck in the shell. And a card of great happiness. Sun, Nine of Cups, King of Cups. Queen of Swords certainly revealed himself, herself, their selves. And now the partner has too. And there'll be a reward for it. Ace of Pentacles. I like this read a lot. Oh, really? On the Nine of Cups. You know, cheers, we did it. Queen of Cups. I'm glad I listened, because now we have King of Cups, Queen of Cups, mutual emotional match and openness. Mutual. Both people pulling in the same direction. Back in the flow. Getting the boat that was stuck on the ledge or whatever, letting the tide come in. Letting the tide come in. Back in the flow. Back in the slipstream. You know, back in the current of life. Sometimes you have to shut off. and then you open back up. And those little guys do it when the tide comes in. They open so they can feed, so they can open back up. I mean, can you believe this? King and Queen of Cups, Nine of Cups. You know, it's the dream come true. This match, this emotional match that makes both parties happy because both parties are ready. That cluster, King and Queen of Cups, Nine of Cups, all in one flow, matching energies. This is a great read. And it began with somebody essentially demanding the truth. Like I demand, and I want to open the thing. It needed to come to fruition. And it may have been hard for the Queen of Swords to wait for the revelation. Queen of Swords is a boundary setter. And this person, Divine Masculine, may have in fact been saying, I have a boundary. Respect my boundary. I need to grow more. I'm not ready for the harvest. I'm afraid. In some ways afraid of being happy. I don't want to do the shadow work. But they did. They did, and there's an opportunity for the new beginning. And the new beginning is 3D love. Something to celebrate. It's it's like happiness. Sun card, Nine of Cups. Emotional fulfillment. Emotional fulfillment. King of Cups, Queen of Cups. I mean, I'm kind of saying the same thing again and again, but it's like, can I believe, can I believe it? Yes. The dark and the light. Both have been dealt with. We can open up. Okay. Love you guys. I can't remember. I think this was a members only read, but I don't know if I said that at the beginning. I think it's for everybody. I think it's for yeah, it is. So members, if I said that at the beginning, I think this is so important for the collective, like the shell that opens up. We need to open this up to the larger circle. And I intend to do a members read, likely later today. So thank you for your patience, but this one needs to be shared. Devil is the idea that we don't have the resources, that we're stuck, we're scared, we're stuck in something that we think we cannot let go of. But there's enough to go around. 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. Love to go around. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time.